Lots of fireworks with two Heisman contenders in this Pac-12 matchup. Grace Remington with Adam Munsterteiger and Matt Prehm joining me to break down Colorado and Oregon. The Buffs coming off that double overtime thriller against Colorado State, now getting their first test against a true top-tier opponent, and in a tough atmosphere too, where Oregon has won 32 of its last 34 home games. Now Colorado will be without its best player, Travis Hunter, out for 3 weeks. He's caught the world's attention for his heavy action on both sides of the ball. He's the Buffs' third leading receiver, also stuffs the stat sheet on defense. So Adam, how does Colorado replace him?
Well, you can't replace Travis Hunter's talent out there. That's something that Coach Prehm pointed out at his weekly press conference. Deion Sanders said, we just lost our best offensive player and our best defensive player. But yes, Colorado does need somebody to line up at the starting cornerback spot opposite Mario Cooper this week, and they're still trying to figure that out. I think a lot of folks would assume that it would be Cormani McClain, a five-star signee in the 2023 class, but Cormani's taken a little bit of time to develop, so he's not really in the mix. Travis Jay, a transfer from Florida State, has worked his way back from injury. He's in the mix. Another name to keep in mind here is Carter Stoutmire. He's a true freshman that played 20 snaps against Nebraska in week 2, was out last week, but might be back this week. And this is a guy that the staff is really excited about. His father, Omar Stoutmire, was an 11-year player in the NFL as a defensive back, played with Deion Sanders in Colorado's quarterbacks coach when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. So he's got a long history with Coach Prehm and is a guy that could factor in there as well. But you're not going to have that elite shutdown corner that you had when Travis Hunter was out there.
This is almost like losing two players because of his two-way ability. And Oregon's talked about in the secondary that they've got other guys that they will throw in there, and they're prepared for the cornerback by committee approach that Deion Sanders told media members at Colorado this week. And Dan Lanning recruited Travis Hunter. Was really bummed that he wasn't going to play because he knows how special of a talented player he is. And I would expect Oregon's offense to probably throw it a little bit more without Travis Hunter on the football field. They already are an aggressive team through the air with new OC Will Stein. Now, defensively defending Colorado and how that impacts things without Travis Hunter there, that's going to put a lot of pressure or less pressure on Oregon's secondary, which came into this season with a lot of question marks because of Christian Gonzalez's departure to the NFL as a first-round draft pick and some mixed results last season with that position group that they've self-admitted. But without Travis Hunter on the field, that will allow Oregon's cornerbacks. Jalil Florence has played a lot now in the star position. He's looked really good. They've also found the guy in Kyrie Jackson, a transfer from Alabama, has 2 picks in the last 2 games. More focus will go on Weaver and also on Jimmy Horn at receiver.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about those receivers. But first, Colorado's offensive line needs to protect Shedeur Sanders. 16 sacks allowed, tied second worst in the nation. However, when he has the time to get the ball off, that wide receiver group can burn just about anyone. And now they're going up Oregon's secondary, which is a little bit vulnerable to explosive plays here. So, Adam, how do you see this matchup going?
Yeah, Matt mentioned Zay Weaver and Jimmy Horn. They're 1 and 2 right now in the Pac-12 in receptions per game, so they've been very productive. It's a situation where Shedeur Sanders is playing at an elite level right now, and he's catching guys open sometimes as well, and so that's been a big key. Now, Oregon, they do rank 3rd in the conference in pass efficiency defense, so I wouldn't necessarily say that's a glaring weakness, but we've seen Colorado struggle to get yards on the ground, and so they're going to have to continue to rely on Shedeur Sanders until that ground game gets going. Alden McCaskill, a transfer from Houston, might be back in the mix at running back. That could provide some type of boost. But when you've got a quarterback that's completing 79% of his passes, you're going to be tough for any secondary to handle.
Yeah, Oregon's defense needs to get after Shedeur Sanders. That's going to be a key thing for this group. Their front 7 feels like they're better than they were last year. That's part of the heart, the teeth of this defense, with Brandon Dorlus headlining the group. But Popo Amave is back from an injury. He missed all of last season and has really come on strong as well for the Ducks. 2 back-to-back games with a sack now as a nose tackle. Pretty impressive there. Containing Sanders is going to be the biggest thing for Oregon's defense. His ability to, that is, Sanders. His ability to continue to extend the pocket and look downfield and make plays is some of the best we've seen this season in college football. A dynamic quarterback. Oregon's defenders spoke today. They were very high on him and his ability to make plays, and they're not surprised at all that his success from the FCS level has transferred over to the FBS level at the Power 5 level. They've got a lot of respect. They know they're going to be facing one of, if not the best quarterback in the country.
Flip side of the ball now, Colorado's defense is tied for first in the nation with 10 turnovers forced. Meanwhile, Oregon's offense has stayed clean. They're only one of 2 teams nationally with 0 turnovers through week 3. So, Matt, how important is it for the Ducks to protect the ball?
Yeah, this is something that's paramount to them. Bo Nix was asked about this after the Hawaii game without it yet again no turnover. And he said it's one of the most important things that they focus on because they know their offense is so good that they can score, put themselves in a position to score almost every drive that they get the football. And they don't want to give free possessions away to their opponent and give them extra opportunities to win the game. And that was a huge factor in that week 2 game at Texas Tech when they came back and won that game. Oregon didn't commit any turnovers, and Texas Tech had 3 of them, and then Oregon scored on 2 of them, touchdowns on both. This team prides itself on taking the ball away and then preventing their opponent from stealing any extra possession that they can. And that's going to be something to watch in this game because Colorado's defense is really good at that.
And it's been important that Colorado has gotten those takeaways defensively because they have struggled at times giving up big chunk plays and ranked last in the conference in run defense and have given up a lot of plays through the air as well. So they have been opportunistic and they have come up big at times when they've needed to. And this does go to what Charles Kelly has said that he wanted to install at Colorado since day one, and that was building an attacking brand of football. You look at some of the interceptions, it wasn't fluke bouncing off a receiver's hand and falling into the defensive backs. It was, guys really attacking the football. And so that has been a point of emphasis. It will be challenging this week against Bo Nix, who is such an efficient, smart quarterback.
All right, let's talk about the X factor in this game. One guy who's going to make the difference on either side. Matt, who are you watching?
Yeah, Brandon Dorlus. He's Oregon's best player on defense. He led the team last year in sacks. He's off to you look at his stat sheet and you may think he's off to a slow start, but stats sometimes don't always tell the story for a defensive lineman. And this guy has generated a ton of pass rush. He stuffed the run. He made the hit on the quarterback against Texas Tech on 4th down. He made the hit on Texas Tech's quarterback in that 4th quarter comeback that Jeffrey Bosser returned for a touchdown. This is a guy that has to get after Shedeur Sanders, contain him, get him to get to the pocket, make him feel flustered, make him feel rushed. And if they do that, if they can make Sanders' process just speed up just a little bit, that will help everybody else in the defense. And I think Dorlus is the one that's going to be able to do that.
For Colorado, the X factor player I'm going to throw out there is a walk-on in this program, and that's Mikey Harrison, who came up big at the end of Colorado's double overtime victory over Colorado State. In that second half, the Buffaloes were without Travis Hunter, which they will obviously again be without him again this week. And the Rams were focusing a lot of attention on Zay Weaver and Jimmy Horn, who we talked about at the receiver position. And that opened some things up for tight end Mikey Harrison to come in there and make some big plays. He was responsible for 14 of Colorado's last 17 points. This was a guy that was a receiver in the program this spring, got converted over to tight end, worked his butt off in the weight room, and has made an impact here. So if Oregon does focus in on Jimmy Horn and Xavier Weaver, you could look for Shedeur to target Mikey Harrison again this week.
Walk-on stories are always cool, but I feel like this one's just a little bit more special when it's tied to this program. All right, Adam and Matt, thanks so much for your insights here. And for more on this game, check out buffstampede.com and duckterritory.com for all your Colorado and Oregon football and recruiting news all season long.